Alright, trap music is a bit of an interesting one, right? Because I think it's pretty easily the most oversaturated and the least versatile genre there is, you know? So I think the enjoyment of trap typically is pretty obvious. It's supposed to just be mindless fun, right? And that is what I think makes Travis Scott interesting. Because I think he, with Rodeo, transcended trap to something beyond just hype bangers, you know? Rodeo was like a genuine album. It was like a legitimate experience that I actually got something way more from than just the average, like, oh yeah, this is fun, hype shit. Like, this was an actual, like, journey with nuances and artistic integrity, and it was a whole new peak for the genre, in my opinion. I've never felt the way I have felt listening to Rodeo that I have with any other trap album. You know, it was definitely a one-of-a-kind thing. I'm kind of worried that trap is never going to reach this peak again. Like, this album's a real psychedelic journey, in my opinion, that does go much further beyond than just being fun, mindless shit. Because that's normally what you get with artists like Future and Migos and Gucci Mane and Playboi Carti and whatnot. It's just supposed to be catchy, instantaneous, fun shit, you know, and sometimes it hits for me, sometimes it doesn't. It is what it is. But Rodeo is, to this day, in my opinion, the pinnacle of trap music so far. I think it's pretty easily the highest peak it's ever reached. Obviously, there are some people that don't enjoy it as much as others, but for me, I think Rodeo is pretty gorgeous. And just some of the ideas on that album, like on Piss in Your Grave, the way it takes like a weird, twisted, kind of grimy psych rock sample and sort of flips it into the trap context and makes it that much more just nocturnal and moody. Like, Travis is really good at capturing that kind of intoxicating, woozy, dark, nocturnal trap kind of sound through his vocals and his very hypnotic hooks and melodies and his use of echo and distortion and reverb. I think he does a great job at creating that trap atmosphere, more so than most artists in the genre. So I've always thought Travis is definitely like an artist to look out for, like to pay attention to in trap music. And I think a lot of people were quite let down with Birds because it seemed like he wasn't pushing himself any further like he was on Rodeo. Like, it was very clearly nowhere near as ambitious. It was a pretty safe album, but I still thought that Birds got a little bit too much flack. I think that album actually did have more going for it than the average trap album. There was quite a bit of variety on there. The hooks were really solid, and there were some pretty impressive moments too, in my opinion. Like the song Way Back, I still think is really great. Like, I get a lot more from this album than, say, your average fucking just repetitive Future mixtape, you know? I think Birds did have its moments that still displayed Travis as an exciting figure in trap music, in my opinion. I thought it got a little bit too much hate, personally, but still, I understand where the disappointment came from, because it was nowhere near as transcendent for trap music as Rodeo was, in my opinion. But yeah, here we have ASTROWORLD. And the concept of ASTROWORLD, it seems, from what I've been able to research, is that in 1999, there was a theme park in Six Flags. There was like an ASTROWORLD like area in Six Flags in Houston where Travis Scott, you know, grew up. And this theme park, ASTROWORLD, it got like removed, it got relocated so they can make room for like housing areas and shit. And this album is Travis Scott bringing ASTROWORLD back in musical form, I think. That's what I think it is. I could be wrong there. And there we are. Here we have a brand new full-length album from Travis Scott. In my opinion, this album was a success. I think this is actually really sick. I've enjoyed this quite a bit. I can't lie. I've had a pretty damn fun time with it. I actually enjoyed this more than Taboo, which is really weird. I would never have guessed that. But yeah, I actually had a really fun time listening to ASTROWORLD personally. I think it's a really fun trap album. You know, again, I don't think it's on the same level as Rodeo, but again, I think this album does do a good job at displaying why Travis stands out in trap music. Songs like Stargazing, Sicko Mode, Stop Trying to Be God, all show Travis' artistic ability, in my opinion, and to some degree. And then you have beats like Carousel as well, which are just kind of wonky and strange and not, you know, your average dime a dozen trap beats, you know, and I find them quite, you know, exciting. It's kind of janky. It features this kind of weird, I think it's a Beastie Boys sample, just these like chanting vocals in the background, and it just gives it this really irresistible bounce, in my opinion, that I just can't help but get lost in every time I hear it. And I also liked how he decided to keep the features uncredited on this album as well, like he did with Birds. You know, it makes for a very fun first listen, just seeing all the people kind of pop up and just shit like that. Like Frank Ocean, Young Thug, James Blake, and all, they would kind of just pop up at kind of miscellaneous spots throughout the album. It was kind of surprising to see them all appear and shit. I also think there is quite a bit of instrumental diversity and nuance on this album too. I don't really find this album to be all that boring, really. I don't really think it's just a generic trap album, which I really appreciate. There definitely are generic moments of filler, like I think 5% Tint in particular is one of the most dime a dozen songs here, although I do really enjoy the outro of this track. I think it transcends pretty nicely and progresses pretty well in the end of the song, but for the most part, that piano sample, just the beat, Travis's flow, it's just kind of the same old shit. Nothing really about that song stood out to me personally. The song with Migos was just a totally dime a dozen Migos song, in my opinion. I thought Takeoff's verse was cool, but overall, yeah, the beat was completely just average. average. It was whatever. Butterfly Effect is fine, I guess. The flow he uses on that song, he also uses on the Migos track, which comes right before it, so it was totally noticeable and blatant. And that's one thing with Travis as a rapper. I think he does kind of reuse the same melodies and flows pretty frequently, which is one area I think he could improve. But I do think Butterfly Effect is quite a woozy and hypnotic song. It's nothing like, not like a favorite or anything, but I can enjoy it. R.I.P. Screw was a little bit safe in my opinion. Sway Lee's vocals really kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit on this track. The reverb on his voice was a little bit overkill, and as a singer, he's not the most impressive. So generally, yeah, Sway Lee, he was hit or miss for me on this track, but I thought Travis sounded fine, I guess. I thought Can't Say was a little bit grating, especially with the feature on this song, who when he pops in for the hook, it gets particularly really annoying. He just did not sound right on this instrumental at all, in my opinion. Travis did the hook a lot better, I think. We have the song Yosemite, which features the least Travis Scott on any of the songs here. This Young Thug kind of dominates most of the track, and then we have Nav, which, bro, the Nav verse is the funniest part of this whole album. Nav pops in for like 4 fucking bars, right? And it sounds like Travis Scott and Young Thug are like the cool kids, and Nav's just like trying to get in on them. He's just like, hey guys. He sounds so like awkward, like he doesn't fit in at all. He just sounds like his voice is so quiet too. Yeah, he just sounds like he's like trying to get in with the cool kids or something. It's all I can think of when I hear it. But yeah, it just cracks me up. But yeah, his verse was garbage. And then there's NC-17, which the mixing on this song is fucking atrocious. Okay, Travis Scott's doing this really weird thing with his voice, putting on this really odd cadence and during his portion of the song, which I don't really think worked at all. I think it was during the hook actually. Yeah, he sounded a bit weird. And his ad-libs are just completely oppressive as well. And then 21 Savage appears on this track, and he delivers, in my opinion, one of the best verses on the whole. For the second I heard this line, I was in tears. 21 Savage is just cold-blooded, just completely just emotionless delivery. It makes me laugh so much. I've really come around to it. I think it sounds so funny, and it just works really nicely over trap beats. It just sounds so heartless. I just love it. And his ad libs, his little like, oh god. It's just fun. I mean, I just really like it. But yeah, this line was fucking gold. And yeah, I think generally though, this song is one of the shoddiest and most unprofessional sounding tracks on here. I mean, that's the thing with the mixing as well. On Travis Scott's music in general, his mixing is often a bit sloppy, and there are times where it sounds purposely kind of unmastered or unprofessional. Like on Stargazing, there is a really distracting sample click that plays in the beat, and oh my god, are you fucking stupid. That is such an easy fix. That's the most rookie mistake in the game. There's like a sample, and they cut it off like before the sample's done. There's like a really violent, harsh click, and it's so annoyingly distracting. Like it's so easy to get rid of. Like fade tool. It's called a fade tool. You either just use the fade tool, or you could just go into the thing and just like take out the bit where the line isn't lined up with the other. That was just fucking annoying, because outside of that, the song is actually awesome. I think Stargazing is really catchy. The fucking roller, 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 got me stargazing. Really catchy. I think it's a total earworm. And the second half of the track is awesome too. A really like bustling, like kind of grimy, like fast-paced beat. That kind of synth arpeggio that kind of gets cycled throughout the song is so fucking cool. My favorite track has got to be No Bystanders though. This track is a fucking hit, dude. I love this song. Sheck Wes, I think, is the person credited on the hook here. And his performance is phenomenal. He sounds so hype, it's ridiculous. And the bitch, especially, the way he yells bitch is just so fucking sick. There's so much ferociousness to it. It's really great. And Travis's rapping on this track is really solid. His flow is fantastic, and the beat's great too. Yeah, total bang. I love this song. Stop Trying to Be God is probably the most rodeo-like song, you know, it's the most progressive track here. It's got a pretty beautiful progression, and James Blake really kills the outro as well. And I love the harmonica too. I think that was from Stevie Wonder's actually, so yeah, well, you know, Stevie Wonder's on this track, and the harmonica on this song is a really nice touch. And I like how Travis is willing to kind of throw in instrumental curveballs like that. Like on songs like on 5% Tint during the outro, as well as on Houston Fornication and Coffee Bean. Actually, I think it was just Coffee Bean. There were some strings that sound really gorgeous and opulent and lovely. And I think it's cool to see Travis kind of toy around with some different instruments that you don't normally catch in trap music typically. Like on Carousel with the organ as well. You know, I think there are some cool musical ideas, you know, on this thing that keep it exciting. You know, I think that these are things that make this album stand out quite a bit in the sea of trap music nowadays. Skeleton was really lovely instrumentally. I think Kevin Parker from Tame Impala actually contributed towards the song, so that's pretty cool, even though the lyrics on this track were fucking terrible and awkward. But yeah, he does touch on his relationship with Kylie Jenner quite a lot, especially on the last track, and on Stargazing he has a pretty corny line where he's like, got my dick jumping up, call me Moby, like Moby Dick. Yeah, good one. Yeah, the content of this album is really like base level trap. Like, it's just typical trap indulgence, you know. It's you know, bragging about success. It's, you know, talking about being under the influence of lean and codeine and whatnot. It's talking about women and shit like that. And occasionally he'll touch on his relationship with Kylie Jenner, and that's kind of the content here. It's not gonna blow your mind or anything. It's trap, you know. And if that's a problem for you, if you want your music to have like a substantial like topic or subject matter or something, then you're not gonna dig this, because there is straight up nothing. Like, in regards to subject matter, there is very little that you'll be able to take away from this album, like after it's done, like, and actually like think about or anything. Like, that's obviously not where trap is supposed to thrive. You know, trap is very much hinged on the idea of ignoring lyricism. You know, it's about just mindless fun. It's very much an escape from that side of hip hop. So in that sense, it does the job fine. I think I don't really have much of a problem with it personally, but if that is something that bothers you, then know that going in. I also really like the song Astro Thunder. I think that's a really great song. So it's the shortest track here, but holy god, the instrumental is gorgeous on this song, and I love the hook too. It's really cool. I like the lyrical idea too, like the life he's always striving for. He's always seeing it like in his distance, you know. Have I missed it? Oh yeah, Wake Up with The Weeknd. Really like the beat on this song. The kind of weird warped vocal sample thing sounded really sick. But Weeknd's lyrics are pretty trashy. The pussy's so sweet, pussy's so good, shit like that. It's just like, shut up. Yeah, lyrics only really ever bother me in trap when it's like really trashy or really corny or really vulgar or anything like that. Because no, I can enjoy just some mindless indulgence. Sure, that's fine. I don't really care. It's when it gets like particularly really just like lowbrow. It's like, I don't know. Shut up. Oh yeah, also Houston Fornication. I really enjoyed that one a lot. I love the like the descending synth note in the beat too, and the hook is also great. Like, Travis is really solid with just like these hypnotic just melodies and shit. Like, I really like the pre-hook he does on No Bystanders as well. I think that sounds really great. And the way it leads into the actual "You Fuck the Club Up" chorus, I think it's quite nice. Oh yeah, there's also Sicko Mode. I got to touch on Sicko Mode. That's one of my favorites as well. I loved how it started off with Drake, and I was just like, okay, here we go. Drake's gonna do a thing, and then it switches up completely to this fucking awesome beat. Probably my favorite beat on the album is the first switch up on Sicko Mode. It sounds so fucking hard. I think Travis rides it brilliantly too. There's a cool line about how his chains are choking him and how the crackers wish it was a noose or something. I thought it was kind of nice. And some of the sound effects and sample, like Sway Lee pops in, like for do a little sound effect, some samples come in. There's this one like this shouting dude that pops in. The shit like that just gives it more of like an eccentric feel and just keeps it interesting and just like unpredictable. And the way it transitions into Drake's appearance at the end of the song too, it gets all distorted and like grimy. It's really sick. And the beat that comes in during Drake's like actual verse, it's pretty skeletal, it's pretty straightforward, pretty hypnotic, and Drake's performance is nothing to write home about, but I personally don't really have much of an issue with it. I thought he sounded pretty confident. I thought he worked quite nicely on the beat. The like a light. He's talking about like taking a Xan and going to sleep, and it takes him out like a light or something. It's whatever, but I think it's pretty catchy. I just don't really have much of an issue. There's nothing really about it that really annoys me like that. And I think Travis Scott and Drake have really good chemistry on the song too. Travis Scott's verse that comes in at the end after Drake's verse, like, it sounded really comfortable. It sounded really seamless the way it went from Drake to Travis. I thought they sounded pretty solid on that track. So yeah, I like Sicko Mode quite a lot. Overall, I'm feeling a 7. I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. You know, I'm probably gonna come back to a good handful of these tracks. And I think as far as trap albums go, I think it's pretty damn fun. It's no rodeo, it's not on that level at all, but it's replayable, it's fun, it's eclectic at points, it's not generic, which I really appreciate. So yeah, I'm feeling a 7 on this. I thought it was pretty good. I'm quite surprised by it. I was expecting to really dislike it, because Travis has been on an ongoing decline ever since rodeo into just safer and safer material, but I found this pretty sick. So yeah, cool. Thanks for watching my review. I'll see you on the next one. Bye!